You want some gum, Mr. Ewing? You want to sit on my bike, Mr. Barnes? Good morning, Mr. Breakfast. Good morning, Pee-wee. Yeah, I started that bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to the Ewing Barbecue, where Mama said knock you out. My name is Mary.
And I'm Sarah.
Josh here.
And I'm Melanie, and Mama will fuck you up.
That's right, that's right.
Bastard.
Take
Fuck
you out.
Up.
A quick thank you to our Patreon members. Brendan Phillick, Captain America, Marie Johnson, Michael Jung, Jason Carter, Jennifer Endelicato, Laura Bernheim, Brad Mulholland, Anita Wren, and Kristen Carlano. Thank you very much, guys. I'm so excited. We had new signups this week. So
Yay!
Ooh.
Woohoo.
hey. And thank you to everyone who's bought stickers. I appreciate that very much.
Oh my God, they're so cool.
Today is the 28th, so tonight in Dallas at the Rustic, Linda Gray, Jacqueline Smith, and Alana Stewart are hosting the Tex-Mex Fiesta for the Farrah Fawcett Foundation. That starts at 6 p.m. Central Time, which means it is 16 minutes into it right now. And next Tuesday, is it Tuesday? Tuesday is the cruise from Vancouver down through British Columbia and on to Los Angeles with Linda Gray, Charlene Tilton, Sherry Wilson, and Christopher Atkins. Sounds like Lucy and Sue Ellen are going to be fawning over Peter Richards while the ghost of April haunts everybody on the Princess Cruise Line. Again, Chiller Theater at the end of the month of October. In New Jersey, Patty McCormick, who played Evelyn Michelson, Deborah Renard, who played Sly, and Barbara Carrera, Miss Angelica Nero herself. And let's see, I just got some details on Omri Katz's event in Salem because I've been going over the logistics with the people this week. There is a website that cannot, because of the actors' strike. The writer's strike, by the way, has ended. So we're halfway there.
Yeah.
But there's no sign at the end of the actor strike. So they cannot call it a Hocus Pocus event. They have to call it it's just a bunch of Halloween. And that is October 20th and 21st. The night of the 20th, there is a costume party and photo opportunity at the Bit Bar in Salem, Massachusetts. If you go to itsjustabunchofhalloween.com, you can get your tickets to that. And Saturday, the 21st, they are doing a meet and greet and fan photos on the Salem Common from 12 p.m. or 12 noon. There's no such thing as 12 p.m. because p.m. is 1 minute after noon and onward to 11:59. That is going to be from 12 to 7, and that will be on the Salem Common of the 21st. And they were going to do a screening of Hocus Pocus with a commentary from the cast, but they cannot because of the actor strike. So that got canceled. And a special thank you to Charlene Tilton, Kathy Podwell, Denon Simpson, Omri Katz, and Alan Catton and Tyler Banks for the birthday greetings they gave me this week, which was the other day.
That's very nice.
Yep. Today's the 28th. Joel Fabiani, who played Alex Ward, was born this date in 1936. I think he's still alive. I haven't seen any obituaries. So that makes him 87. The 29th, Steve Forrest, who played Ben Stivers / Wes Parmalee, was born in 1925. So he'd be 97. No.
98.
98. Yeah, 98. Ian McShane, who played Don Lockwood, born in 1942. He is 81.
He is one hell of an actor.
Oh my God.
Because I'll tell you what,
Deadwood,
so good. Oh my God.
he was like the nice guy on Dallas, like the calm, and then Deadwood, yeah. And wasn't he Blackbeard in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. And then he played this sexually abusive actor, producer guy, something like that on SVU too. he had like a multi-episode story arc. Like he was a bastard. And it was like, this is the same guy? Holy shit.
He is also in my favorite TV movie of all time from 1985. It was a 3-part series called Evergreen, starring Ian McShane, Leslie Ann Warren from Clue, and Armand Asante. And it also has like Betty Buckley and like a bunch of people in it that are, like you're
Betty
like,
Buckley!
yeah,
It's called Evergreen?
Evergreen. It's based off of a book, a series, and I have it on DVD. So, if anybody is interested in watching that, I might, because it's impossible to find. Hit me up, and I might be able to get it to you.
Okay.
I think it's funny how there's a Leslie Ann Down and a Leslie Ann Warren.
I love
That's
Leslie Ann
true.
Warren, though.
Me too. I love her.
I don't know if either of you guys like
And
follow like Betty Buckley on Twitter or anything like that, but she's
don't.
she's hilarious. Oh my god. Like she calls out like stupid political shit all the time.
Also, Joan Allen is in it as Armanda's, or as Leslie Ann Warren's daughter.
ooh,
You'd recognize her if you saw her.
One of
and
those faces.
Yeah.
a last
I will
birthday for
Google.
the moment. Christopher Stone, who played Dave Stratton, I believe he's passed, but he was born in 1940, so he would be 83.
Yeah.
That is all I have on that.
Awesome. So tonight we are talking about season 6, episode 13, episode 116 of the series, Mama Dearest.
I'm going to do everything I can to change the will, so I can sell Ewing oil.
Mama, that's going against Daddy's wishes, and you know it.
I don't think you give a damn about your daddy's wishes. All you care about is yourself.
Daddy chose that the future of Ewing Oil is going to be in the hands of the son strong enough to run it. And that's the way it's going to be.
You leave me no choice, Mama. I'm going to fight you every step of the way.
Your methods may have lost us the company.
Not if we join forces against Mama.
It was written by Arthur Bernard Lewis, directed by Patrick Duffy,
The Duff.
and aired December 31st, 1982.
Don't ever air an episode on New Year's Eve.
Right?
I will
What were
tell
they
you
thinking?
why in a moment.
Okay.
But why would they do that anyway?
I don't know,
Even
it's
back
so
in
silly.
the 80s.
Right. I don't know. It makes no sense. The number one song in the U.S. on that day was Man Eater by Hall & Oates. In the U.K. was Save Your Love by Renee and Renato. The number one film was Tootsie, starring Dennis Hoffman and Jessica Lange.
So great.
Top news stories from tonight is like, one, it's New Year's Eve, and it is about to be 1983. CBS Mystery Theater airs its final episode on radio after 8 years. NBC Radio cancels almost all of its network daily features, which I didn't even realize radio shows were still happening in the 80s, but I guess they were.
I
Me
was
either. That's
thinking
what I
the
say.
same thing.
How old do you feel now saying it was a radio premiere or finale?
And the TV soap Doctors ended its 19-year run.
Coming up tonight on Amos and Andy, you know.
And then died today was Kurt Otto Friedrichs, who was a German-American mathematician and educator. And he died at 82. And on Dallas?
And on Dallas, we had Miss Ellie's attorney, Brooks Oliver, played by Donald Moffat, who appeared in Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger. It's also the first mention of Mark Grayson.
Mark Grayson.
Porn Stash, who
Oh my, the porn
Who
stash
we-
is in the
who-
house.
Stash is about to enter the building.
who it completely escaped me until I heard it again. It's like, oh, he's Mark Grayson Jr. because it was a Mark Grayson Sr.
I did not remember that.
But the reason why
No,
you
I did
don't
not
air an
either.
episode on New Year's Eve is this episode went from number 1 last week to number 24 in the ratings.
Holy shit. Yeah, because people are
Because
doing
it's
shit on New Year's Eve.
Fucking New Year's Eve.
People are
why.
getting laid on
Heads
New Year's
up,
Eve.
motherfuckers.
They're
Heads
at a
up.
party and watching Dick Clark. They're not watching Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know. It was 1982.
They're letting their they're getting
know
drunk
what?
and they're letting
So
they're
those
getting drunk and
viewers-
they're letting their balls drop is what they're
Yeah,
doing.
so those viewers, I'm sure, were all like in like house parties and stuff, and they had the TV on the background because somebody was fucking watching it.
Well, somebody was watching it, but yeah, I'm saying like if people were watching it, they had it on as they were getting ready for their New Year's Eve party.
Probably.
It was on in the background, waiting to switch over to Dick Clark.
But like I said, their dick was getting clarked and their balls were dropping, so they were not watching Dallas. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Okay.
Okay. So we open on South Fork where the help is cleaning up after the barbecue.
I like the yellow and the white theme of the tents and the furniture.
I do too. Yeah, it matches all their outdoor decor. It all matches.
Yes.
I like the help.
The help.
The help.
Oh my God. Where did I start?
So we're cut to the living room where Lucy is quizzing JR about what happened. And like he can't even. He's like, I have a headache. Leave me alone.
And he tries to deflect by saying, well, was that Trotter boy coming out of the house earlier?
And she's like, I'm not playing that game. We're not talking about me. We're talking about you, JR.
I love how she calls him out on his bullshit.
I love it too. It's so good.
Oh, she's an adult now.
Well,
don't run
not
your fucking mouth.
She's figured it out too. She knows what he's all about, and she's like, "I'm not just some like dumb blonde. I'm not just your niece." She's like, "This is fucking bullshit."
Ellie comes in and she restates that she's meeting with Harv tomorrow and trying to overturn Jock's will so she can sell Ewing oil.
But right before that, Bobby and Pam had come in, and Pam snipes at JR about how Ray and Bobby had to defend him and all that, and they're all getting
like
into it there.
You couldn't defend yourself.
No, this is the man that hides under a table during a bar fight.
Totally.
True.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, Ellie comes in. She says she's going to stop the bickering and sell Ewing oil, and Pam sides with Ellie.
She does. Sue Ellen worries that she's being hasty, and Ellie's just like, yeah, nope, I'm not.
No, my house, my rules.
Right.
She says she's going to distribute the proceeds among the four brothers, and JR's like, well, that's just great. Half the company's going to go to a drunk and a cowboy. I'm surprised Lucy didn't say anything about that either.
Right. I think she's just so used to JR talking shit about her dad. She's just like, whatever. And as soon as he says that, Ellie gets like fire in her eyes. And she's like, don't you shout at me, JR. You don't give a damn about your daddy's wishes. You only care about yourself. And then turns around and dramatic exit. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, Ellie.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's Ellie's. I understand it. She's pissed because it's almost like, I can see her going, you knew what was going to happen. You fucking knew and you did it anyway. That's what she's saying right now. Like,
she's
Jock,
like, you left me with this shit.
You left me with this. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. You're cool. Hey, fuck you.
I think she needs a side holster on her person so she can carry the horsewhip around. And just start horsewhipping
honestly,
people.
I wouldn't mind seeing that, like a physical horsewhip and just being like, whoosh.
That's right.
So
Molly Hagan.
That's what I want for Christmas. Hello.
Molly Hagan cannot be the only
Horsewhip?
Miss Ellie that carried a horsewhip. Barbara Bel Geddes needed to carry that horsewhip.
All I want for Christmas
Horsewhip?
is a horse.
Horsewhip. Whip. Whip.
So we cut to the bar. Cliff is a little in the bag. And Punk is pissed.
And can we talk about Punk's boots and his the way he's dressed?
Yeah, he's still dressed from the barbecue, and like he's dressed. Oh, so good, so good.
Morgan Woodward he was a fashion man.
He really was. Love it.
I never hear a man called a fashion plate, but he was a fashion plate.
His bolo ties, the like turquoise he wear, just
all I could think of when he walked in, I could just hear the Man in Black playing by Johnny Cash in the back of my head.
Yeah, totally.
He's not pleased the way Cliff handled that at the barbecue. He is
He's not
pleased.
Because he's just like, we were there to talk, not for violence, and you just caused a riot.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
If it had gone on any longer, there would have been chairs flying around at South Fork. Mm-hmm. There would have been broken booze all over the place, and that would have been a lot of booze because Miss Ellie had doubled up on the booze and the food.
I think Bobby drank half of it, though.
That's really like, that whole scene, I don't even think I said anything at the time, but like that is a perfect example of like, you know how JR is always talking about the Ewings versus the outsiders?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Bobby and Ray, they always kind of like, you know, remember it differently. It's no different this time. Like, you know, everybody came after JR because, spoiler alert, JR fucked up again. And Bobby, they're like getting, you know, in front of him. And I really like that they eventually like start to call him out on that.
Uh-huh.
Like, dude, we're not banding together. Like, we have to. We will defend you because you are our blood. Yes, against outsiders. But in here, you fucked up. In here, internally, you're in the wrong.
Right.
And that's honestly something actually my mom told me about my grandparents. Like, my dad's parents. She said, your grandfather would never, even if she was in the wrong, your grandfather would never not side with your grandmother out in public to other people. He said,
that's how mine are.
She said, but when they got home, he would let her have it.
He would dress her down.
Like, you were
right?
No, just be like, you were wrong. Here's why. Because he was the only one she would listen to.
Right. That makes sense.
Public United Front.
He had to mansplain it to her.
It is why the Ewings were so good against the outsiders, because they can fight among themselves, but outsiders, no.
Nobody outside can say anything.
You're on our property and you're coming after us. No, we're gonna.
Well, basically, yeah. It's like you don't go after a family in their own home. That's just stupid.
Right.
But at the same time, what better opportunity would you have to get in his face if he's dodging your calls? Right. That's the war you have to wage within yourself. Do you disrupt this party?
Right.
Or not?
No way.
Right. I would not disrupt. No, I would not disrupt the party. I'd do it afterwards. Be like, yeah, now I'm drunk and pissed. All right, let's go. Sounds like a good time for a fight.
So Cliff has an idea, and he wants them to band together to undercut JR.
Jordan is very vocal about, absolutely not. Oh,
yeah, he's not. He doesn't want any part of that.
Oh, I don't want any part of that.
Now, Cliff.
Now. Oh, Don Star. It's always comic relief whenever I see him show up in a scene. I'm like, what's he going to do this time?
I know. He's just like, I feel like he should have like a little like music with him always, like,
and like, kind of like when Mark Grayson shows up next week, we need that porn music for the porn stash.
So soon.
Yes. Do it.
Wow.
Okay, so Bobby wants to go for a drive, and Pam says she'll go with, but Bobby is like, nope, I'd rather go by myself. And Pam doesn't love that. So Ellen walks out on the patio, and she doesn't think that Ellie should mess with Jock's will.
Of course she doesn't, because she's siding with JR.
Right.
She's being the dutiful wife, supporting her husband right now. Because they're still in their honeymoon phase.
So Ellen's siding with JR. Pam is siding with Ellie and not Bobby. And so that's kind of like a thing. Because Pam says she understands Ellie. They both just want the brothers to stop fighting.
And Sue Ellen says, well, how do you think it's going to come across when they have to question Jock's judgment?
Right, his state of mind. And Pam's like, oh, I don't think that Ellie has thought that far in the future.
That does give her just a slight moment of pause, but she's full gun behind Ellie in this episode here. Fractured the family a little more.
And then they cut to Lucy basically asking Ellie if what JR did was so wrong. Like, she's basically like, explain it to me. Like, I don't understand what happened. What did he do that was it so wrong?
It's really funny because she kept that front on during that whole like living room conversation, like that she was mad at him and she was pissed, but it's a struggle. She's at the same time, she's like, was he really that wrong? Like, fuck you. Like, it's JR, but like, was he really wrong this time?
Right. Because
she's kind of struggling with herself.
Lucy is like totally, what's the word? She's totally loyal to Jock. Mm-hmm. And so JR is the one being loyal to Jock. So, and she's automatically going to fight with JR. But then she's like, wait, you're saying that my granddaddy was wrong. I don't know if I agree with that. Well,
I mean, look at what Miss Ellie went through, like when he was first gone. Like, she didn't want to hear anything about what Donna had found.
Oh, right.
About all that. She thought, she put him on a pedestal. And now that's kind of like, that's faded a little bit. And she's seeing him for the man, the flawed man that he was.
The actual real person he was, finally.
And that's why she's like, you knew what you were doing. Fuck you. You put me in this situation. You left me. Like, and she has to be wondering, was he in his fucking right mind?
And wasn't it Ray? Wasn't it Ray that said Jock was a man, and he, as much as he admired him, he was a man, and he had flaws.
He's human.
He was a man. Right. He was not a god.
Right. Yeah. And he wasn't a man god. He was a man.
See, we tend to idolize people after they die, whether they were good people or not. Like, even whether we like them or not, sometimes we still kind of like.
It's hard when someone dies and you didn't like them when they're alive. It's so awkward.
I know.
It's an awkward feeling.
Right, because you don't think about the fact that they're not going to be there, so you carry on these feelings thinking that they're just going to be there for, and then when they're suddenly gone, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, that wasn't supposed to happen. I have unresolved issues here.
Yeah.
And, Lucy is questioning, and Ellie said it wasn't what JR did, it was how he did it and who got hurt from it, and that was what really was wrong.
And Ellie's just like, he was very wise, but he made mistakes in the past. And when he made mistakes in the past, he was here to fix it. But right now, he can't fix it because he's not here. So I have to fix it because I am the head of the family now. So I have to step up and I have to lead this family the right way. Which is true. And I think that's something she's realized she needs to do.
And at the same time, like, I know how this turns out. Because I've seen Dallas before, but I also couldn't help but feel like the first time I watched this episode years ago, like, is this for real? Like, are we being punked? Because I think punked was still a thing back then when I first saw this episode.
Is that
2000s. I was like, is Jock just punking us all?
Because of Punk Anderson?
No, punked was a...
Oh, I know that, but I'm just throwing the Punk Anderson punk.
I actually did not make that connection, but sure. Got punked! Yeah. We'd add that to the bingo card, I guess. But... But yeah, I mean, it was like, is this for real? Did Jock actually do this?
He really got up in Cliff's face and said that if Cliff crossed him, he was going to wake up face down. That's Punk being a hard ass again.
It is, yeah. Don't mess with Punk.
Don't punk. Punk
is fuck.
Yes. But even Ellie, well, she has to do what she has to do for the family. She's still in the back of her mind questioning whether it's right or wrong. So
she is, yeah, of course, yeah,
right. Because and it's like, honestly, I don't know.
She just wants her family to stay together at the end of the day. Like, that's literally all she cares about. Like,
she wants all of she wants her grown men children living under mommy's roof.
She wants everyone to be able to get together at Christmas, and she wants to see her grandkids, and if this business breaks them up, then they're all going to just scatter, and she doesn't want that. And she's realizing like things are more important than business.
And the only one with any real backbone that actually went out on their own was Gary, who was viewed as weak.
Right. Which they talk about later.
It's like, really, JR, because you still live at home with your mom.
I know.
I would love to have seen Christmas at South Fork. Not Slanding did Christmas
if you're
episodes.
that rich and you have a fucking mansion, why are you all living in the same wing? Like, why are all your bedrooms and bathrooms like together?
Because they have attachment issues. I don't know.
God, no. Like,
Dynasty
do you really want to be newlyweds down the hall from your parents? Ew,
you want to be pounding the Posturepedic, and those walls were thin. They could hear everything.
We're literally like, Jock was listening to Pam and Bobby. You remember that? Gross.
Yeah.
And then Pam and Bobby could hear Sue Ellen and JR arguing, and we're like, they're going to wake the baby. And I'm like,
right.
How much did you guys hear all the damn time? Like,
get your own apartment.
What the hell? Get a high-rise condo. Get something.
At least
Build
from what I
another
understand,
house.
Dynasty did it right with their mansion because it was so huge. They could be on different wings of the house and nobody would hear them or
I've
stuff
never
like that.
watched Dynasty, and I'm thinking about watching it for the first time.
I am
It's
considering
so
watching
good.
it.
I have the whole
saw
thing on DVD.
I saw little bits and pieces here and there. I never put the whole show together though.
It's on Prime though, so I am thinking about watching it.
You should watch it. You got to
I
get
need to
into it.
watch
But by the
Falcon
third
Crest then.
season,
too.
see,
I'm
I've
on
never
season
watched all
7
of
now.
Falcon Crest. I
I'm
haven't
on
ever
season
watched
7.
the whole thing about it. I had the
need to
first
watch
season.
I haven't watched.
They just had Buck Henry come in as an illusionist and mess with Anna Alicia's mind. Hired by Jane Wyman.
Oh, all right.
The first Mrs. Ronald Reagan.
Uh-huh.
Well, Nancy, it's time to go watch Jane on Falcon Crest. So Sue Ellen comes outside where JR and she's worried for him.
She is. And he assures her that everything's fine. The oil men were just blundering. He's fine. No one is going to do anything to him.
It's all a bunch of bluster,
She
just
knows
blowing in the wind.
He's trying to calm her down. And I think, again, we forget that Sue Ellen has been sitting back and observing and watching and listening for years. And she's like, no, like, they really got to you. Like, you're really... And he's like, yeah.
So Ellen, Mama's going to get a good night's sleep. We're going to calm down. I'm going to have a little chat with her later. We're going to, it'll all blow over, blah, blah, blah.
Whatever he says coming out of it, okay, if JR's talking, he's lying.
Like a politician.
If his lips are moving, blah, 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 it's bullshit. But in this case, I think the way he's lying is kind of noble. He doesn't want to worry her.
I know.
Yeah, he's like, don't worry about it, because he's really, this is crazy, as rich as they are, he's really thinking that he is going to have nothing. He's not going to have anything to pass on to his son. He's not going to have anything to provide for his wife. Like, he's going through it, and she's like, hello, I'm here. And he's like, oh, no, it's fine. I got this. It's like, she's trying to be your supportive wife, you dumbass. Don't lie to her.
And JR, what if she does go through this? Well, we'll deal with that when we get there.
That's the correct way to approach it, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we'll deal with it if it happens.
But yeah, you can see his wheels turning the whole time. And she's just like, this is kind of a big deal. And he's like, it's not. It's like, yeah, it is. But okay, don't talk to me, Mr. Emotionally Unavailable.
But Bobby does come home and he does want to talk.
Right. He comes home very late. And Pam has been really worried about him. Because he left on that weird note where he did not want her to come with.
This scene is a little frightening with Bobby's character here.
Yeah, I feel like this is where the real Bobby's coming out to play, you know?
Bobby's like fed the fuck up though.
That's what I was saying. He's the tested Bobby that you get him to that point and then he just fucking jumps off the ledge and eat you
This
up.
is the Bobby who can take it and can take it and can take it, and now he's just done.
He's fucking pissed.
Right.
It's like in those Rocky movies when the opponent is just pounding on him and all of a sudden Rocky's like, nope, I'm flipping the script here and I've had it, and he just starts wailing and wailing and wailing and pounding and then sends the opponent to the ground. But what drives him is Pam goes that she doesn't want the future. She just wants give up the company. You can be the president of any company you want. We have enough more money. And that is like waving a red flag in front of a bull.
Right. Because he's upset because he thinks she's siding with Miss Ellie.
So she kind of is, but.
Right.
But this is more about Bobby's identity.
It is. And like Bobby kind of realizing who he is as a person, and Pam being like, you shouldn't be that person. He's like, are you kidding me? Like, this is who I am, though.
Like, this is who I am. This is who I became. This is what I was groomed for. This was my destiny.
His speech. When I went to the university, I couldn't just be on the football team. I had to be the captain of the team. I had to be the best. When I was out there being spreading the booze, the broads, and the booze, I had to be the best one in the field. I had to be the best at this because it was what Jock wanted, and Gary didn't have that, and he
says that's why Daddy turned against Gary, because none of that was important to Gary. And I was like, Oh my God, like Gary was way more emotionally mature than all of you because Gary was like, I'm going to go and do my own thing. And you guys, like, it's so toxic.
Right. They spend their lives and
trying to please their dad.
Even
I also think
30 years after he's dead.
Gary had that, like, I think, in his mind, but why did he drink so heavily? He wanted that acceptance.
Of course he did. And his dad was just like, you're not good enough because you're not tough enough or whatever, which is just, oh, God. And
yeah. No, I mean, like, I think Jock was very strategic about the boys. Like, JR was the firstborn. He was like, okay, you're going to take over and I'm going to groom you, like, into basically a VP position right out of college. Here we go. That's not nepotism, whatever. Bobby, he was like, oh, no, son, I'm going to put you out in the field. Go be my salesman.
And Bobby was his favorite. And everybody knew that Bobby was his favorite because he didn't make that a secret to anyone, including JR. And so that's why I think JR had such an issue with it. It was because Bobby was obviously the favorite and could get away with anything.
And that's what I don't think Bobby realizes is that while some things were chosen for him, this is not his destiny. It was JR's.
Yeah. Right.
JR was the one born and bred into that position, basically. And that's why JR is the way he is. He doesn't think there's anything else out there that means anything.
Right. This is it. This is all that there is.
This is it. And Bobby knows that there's other things in life. You know, he married somebody that his parents didn't want him to marry. He adopted a child that wasn't his, that at first he thought was his brother's, and he was prepared to raise him as his own.
He was, yeah.
So, hats off to Bobby. Although right now Bobby's being a dick.
He is kind of being a dick, but he's also being honest. He's like, this is who I am, and you're telling me you don't like who I am, but I'm telling you, like, this is the real me. And so, like, I just want you to know that because this is me.
I mean, and that's crazy because it's been 6 years since they've been married. She doesn't know this about him already?
Right.
And no shit. That's what I always think when I'm watching. I'm like, you didn't already know this? God damn.
Because every time he starts being that way, she gets mad.
And then they end up leaving South Fork.
And then she leaves South Fork every time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then she ran into Veronica Hamill that one time.
A long time ago. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Pam looks really, really fucking worried about this whole situation.
Yeah. And it's going to end up in the hands of the strongest one, and it's going to be him, is what he says. Yeah.
Is what he says, yeah.
And he's so damn sure about that.
Everyone's so sure. It's going to be interesting. So Cliff is looking into buying a condo.
Woohoo. But he doesn't want the sounds of the planes over the...
Right. He's being really picky. He's like, basically his mom calls him out on being kind of a cheap ass. Like, I wouldn't imagine you'd leave. And he's like, no. Like, I have to think about, like, entertaining and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, plus I could be a tax write-off. So whatever.
that is true, Cliff.
Is insane for entertaining. Holy cow.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah.
Yeah. The new condo for sure. It's crazy. It's awesome.
Like, yeah, that cracked me up. I have to think about entertaining. Dude, you had women over to have sex and eat Chinese food in the living room on your couch.
That's it.
Like,
that's
not
and your mom over. That's right. All that there is.
You made your mom dinner too. Like, you really, what are you going to entertain? Like, come on. You going to have parties, Cliff?
Well,
he thinks he is.
Cliff's going to have parties.
He thinks he's going to have the cartel, like, cutting business deals in his...
Oh, you know what he thinks? He thinks Afton's going to be there playing happy homemaker, helping him entertain and close deals.
Oh, the way that JR was hoping Sue Ellen would have done without telling her with Gil Thurman?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at least they didn't cop out and have him take Sue Ellen's old townhouse.
That's true.
Recycled set, like like Jack and April's.
I mean, so many sets are redressed, though. Like, it's the same damn room.
Yeah, in the series finale, they were actually in Bobby's his place was in Gary and Val's house on Knott's Landing. Mm-hmm. And in an one thing with Mandy, I believe she was in Karen and Mac's kitchen on Knots Landing.
Okay.
Yeah. And the outside of the club where Lucy met Mitch has turned up on Knots Landing and I believe Falcon Crest as well.
Interesting.
And Nick Pierce's place just turned up on Falcon Crest too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. His place, I swear I had seen more than once from the outside as somebody's condo.
And I believe it might have been Peter Hollister's on Knots Landing from what somebody once said.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. But Rebecca was frightened by what happened at the barbecue, and she wants Cliff to deal with JR through business and not violence. But
JR plays dirty.
Yes, JR does play dirty.
It ends up violent somehow. It always ends up violent. Somebody's always hurt in a way.
When J.R. Ewing's involved, someone's going to get hurt.
Exactly.
It's the bottom line.
And oh my God, this is kind of spoiler. This is kind of foreshadowing.
We won't say how, but we won't say how.
We're not going to say. We're not going to say how it's foreshadowing. But holy shit!
Foreshadow and even five shadow.
Yes. Dang,
so Cliff reluctantly, just to calm his mother down, says, "Okay, fine, yeah, whatever." He stubbornly agrees with Mama, and that's the end of that scene.
Well, Rebecca's got the right idea, but
she does. And then JR tries to apologize to Ellie, but she sees right through him.
Totally.
You really aren't concerned with how well I slept last night, were you?
You're just hoping I changed my mind, but I didn't.
See, and that's it. Ellie, JR is her son. She raised him. She knows when he's lying.
Oh, right.
He
exactly.
lies to her face constantly. And she knows.
He pours on the saccharin. Oh, I'm sorry. Blah, blah, blah.
She knows.
Yeah. Well, I'm still meeting with Harvard too. And then he says, well, Bobby and I'm going to fight you on this all the way. And Bobby's going to side with me.
Right. And she's kind of like, bring it. You both came out of me. I brought you into this world. I can take you right back out again.
Thank you, Cliff Huxtable. Thank you, Cliff Huxtable.
Yeah.
Theo, that's the dumbest thing you ever said. I brought you into this world and I'll take you out.
Oh, I didn't.
And then I'll give you
I didn't hear it from the Cosby Show. That's my mother used to say that shit to me all the time when I was a kid.
I know. And then I'll give you, what is it called?
The first time I ever heard it was on the Cosby Show.
About.
No, I'll give you an opioid or whatever he says.
An opioid?
A roofie. A roofie. What is the word? We have this every time.
I will Cosby your ass.
Bill Cosby.
Yeah, but what's the name of that pill? We always talk about this.
Quaaludes.
Quaaludes. That's it. Quaaludes. Jesus.
You put the Quaaludes in the pudding. You put the pudding in the woman. You put the poop. But
what the fuck?
No, the first time I ever heard that thing about brought you into this world and take you out was on the Cosby Show.
It was. Okay.
Oh my God. Now see, I don't think my mother got it from the Cosby Show. I think that's something her mother said to her.
I said that to my oldest, and when he was like 4, was like, is that true? Like, you can bring me into the world and then you can take, and I was like,
you're like, shit,
it's a
sorry,
joke.
wrong words.
I'm not really going to murder you, but okay.
You want to scare them? You can say, see this remote control? This is a remote control. I can rewind and just make you disappear. I can do reverse pregnancy and whoop, you're gone.
Ew.
Yeah,
That was creepy.
Oh, yes, it was.
So then Ray and Donna's house, and Donna tells Ray that the news of JR's gas stations have made it all the way to Washington. So it is now, it is national news.
It's exactly what JR wanted. It's exactly what he wanted.
And as she wonders if Ray has any regrets for standing up for him yesterday in front of all those people.
And he actually said that Cliff Barnes is the second lowest life form to JR Ewing.
Right. And she's like, wait, is that because, like, you know that I used to date him? and you're jealous. And he kind of like looks sideways like, no, that was a long time ago, but it's Ray. And he's so insecure that yes, that is part of the reason.
Oh, yes.
Partly, but you know what? Look, Ray, she married you, dumbass.
I'm just a dumb cowboy.
I'm just a dumb cowboy.
And she stayed with your stupid ass
On a
after you
steel
all
This
this
goddamn bullshit. Right.
Yeah. And she walked in on you in bed with another woman, and she stayed.
She punched Bonnie in the face for you.
Right.
In a fur coat.
fucking coat. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Like, if that doesn't prove love and devotion when she could have walked the fuck away and been just fine.
Should have walked the fuck away. But, you know, whatever.
Yes, indeed. I'm walking. I'm talking. Yeah.
So we cut to Ewing Oil. JR comes in to thank Bobby for standing up for him yesterday.
Bobby's kind of like, yeah, okay, so we're doing this thing where I defend you in public, but in private, you're still a dumb fuck. So,
Also,
you're wrong.
Also,
Yeah.
Donna is ready for the meeting with the commission, but she doesn't think that it's going to change their opinion.
No, because Hicks is being paid off. We've already established this.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't get the scene that confirmed it until this episode when JR calls him when they were talking on the phone.
Correct. But we knew anyway because
JR always is paying somebody else.
We surmised it to begin with, but this episode we know for sure.
JR talking to who?
Hicks.
It's in a couple scenes.
Because this guy went, at the hearing, he went too hard. He went too hard.
Right. And he does again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's obvious then because you see JR sitting like in the back going, you know, kind of like calling the shots silently, if that makes any sense.
Right. And that's, what's that word used? That's a trope that gets used in a lot of shows. Where somebody's always behind the scenes. Yeah. Trope. That sounds too much like the word tripe, which is disgusting. I wouldn't. Anyone ever eat tripe?
I literally have never thought that before.
Oh.
All right.
What?
But,
I'm not going to Urban Dictionary this. Let's move on.
Tripe is fish.
Wah, wah, wah.
No, you know what I loved? What I loved about the scene was it started off with Bobby dictating to Phyllis about Ewing 22, and then when JR comes in, Phyllis completely ignores him, and she asks Bobby if he wants coffee or something. And JR goes, "Oh, I don't need any. I don't need any coffee, Phyllis." And she just like completely ignores him and walks out. I wonder if that was Larry improvising.
Quite possible.
Probably. Yeah.
That just there are certain things.
I feel like the funniest moments are.
Yeah, there are certain things that you can just tell when they come out of his mouth and go, that wasn't in the script. That's what Michael Priest was talking about, giving them a blank page.
Just making up their own shit. And then JR says that he didn't think that he ever needed to explain himself to Bobby before, but since Bobby stood up for him, that he felt like he actually did have to explain himself. But he's like, you can't blame me, Bobby. Like, you were never interested in the business at all until you married Pam. And Bobby's like, I'm sorry, what?
And when JR calls him the company pimp,
right.
Like, you want to say that again?
Excuse me, bacon powder? What? You didn't just say that.
Bacon powder.
S-Wipe says what?
Yeah. And he's like, no. Like, you know, that was your thing. And then he was just like, say that to my face.
And Bobby said, no, Daddy never would have done what you did. And JR goes, you have a very glorified version of our daddy in your head. Because he would have done whatever it was to protect this company.
Right.
And
I think they're both right.
Right, because JR was dragged to the company with Daddy all the time from when I was little. So he saw things that Bobby didn't see because Bobby was so much younger.
Right. Yeah.
So, and Bobby has his Karen McKenzie rose-colored glasses on, and his Pollyanna view of Daddy.
Yep. So JR asks him if he's going to stand up with him against Mama, and Bobby has to think about it.
And then he's leaving. He goes, and just remember, Bobby, you're my brother and I love you.
I was like, oh, all right, cool.
Thank you, Larry.
All right.
Now let's talk about this condo.
Yeah, so Cliff and Afton are looking at this new condo.
Can you hear the like they must have some like plastic covering the carpet because that they're walking on. Can you kind of hear that in the squishing under their feet?
Yeah. The realtor accidentally calls Afton Mrs. Barnes, which Afton gets all giggly about. She's like, Cliff, did you hear how she thinks that we're married? And Cliff
Spoiler.
Did you ever think about it, Cliff? And he's just avoiding the question.
Yeah, he just keeps pretending like he doesn't hear her. He's just like, you know, keeps talking and walking away. And then she's like, you ever think about getting married? And he's just like, oh, hey, look at this paint on this wall. This is interesting. And
look
she's
at
like,
this fireplace,
I guess
too.
not.
Did we ever see him using the fireplace?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but
I don't know.
Well,
I would always use a fireplace if it's available to me.
I love mine.
Yes.
Same.
And then he thinks he can get her down about $10,000, maybe.
Right. And then he says, hey, there's enough room in the closets. You can move some of your stuff over. That's the best he can do.
Okay. Let's go upstairs and take a look. And I like how this scene ends with them going upstairs. And when we start the next scene where Hicks is on the phone with JR, they start with somebody coming down a set of stairs. Did you notice that?
This is Patrick Duffy's direction. It's great.
Yes.
And it's like a government building hallway where Hicks is on a payphone.
It's a very
obviously
ugly government building. A very ugly government building.
Of course, yeah.
Like the City Hall in Boston, Massachusetts. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that. Pictures of it. It is ranked when they do the ugliest buildings in every state. City Hall comes up for Massachusetts every time.
Oh, wow.
Contemporary Hotel came up for Florida at Disney World.
Huh. Interesting.
But this is definitely an ugly government building.
Okay. Yeah. It's ugly and boring.
Cement.
And he's telling JR that he can't make any promises. And JR tells him, remember that the land he set aside in his name is totally being paid off. So do his best.
Yeah. Yeah. So he needs things swayed.
Yeah. So then Harv Smithfield's office, and they say Ellie is there to visit him. But it's not just Ellie who walks in, it's Ellie and Pam.
Right. And they don't want any coffee. No coffee.
And is this secretary's name Janet or Jenna?
Janet.
That's a good question.
Janet? Okay. I couldn't figure out what he was saying. I thought he was like saying Jenna, and I was like, okay.
No, yeah, Janet. Because I was like,
okay.
I was like, damn it, Janet.
Okay, Janet. Okay.
Let's do the time warp, Janet. Imagine Harv Smithfield and Ellie and Pam just breaking out into the time warp.
Holy shit. I would pay to see that, honestly. Yeah.
I'm going to a Meatloaf tribute concert Saturday night, and
fun.
At the end, they have a shadow cast.
Is it Transylvanian?
Well, they're doing Bad Out of Hell in its entirety. It's Caleb Johnson from American Idol with Meatloaf's band.
Okay.
And Meatloaf had hand-selected Caleb Johnson, but at the end of the show, because the 50th anniversary of Rocky Horror is coming up, they are bringing
2 years.
Yeah, they're bringing a shadow cast on to do some songs from Rocky Horror.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Did you know that I saw Rocky Horror on Broadway?
Really?
And I did on my 25th birthday.
Oh, I'll be wearing my Frankenfurter outfit. No.
I want pictures of that.
No.
Yeah, no, I saw on my 25th birthday on Broadway, I saw Rocky Horror. The narrator was Dick Cavett.
Oh.
And Joan Jett played Magenta.
Oh, Joan Jett. Oh.
It was amazing.
Because I hate myself.
So instead of doing a tap dance, she played the electric guitar. And it was so cool.
Oh.
And the person who played Eddie was from Orange is the New Black. I don't know if you guys watched that. I think her name was Boo.
Yeah. So back to Harv's office where they're doing the time warp with Janet.
So Harv has heard about what happened at the barbecue over lunch, and he says that must have been really awful. And Ellie's like, yeah, it was not great. She's like, you understand if I don't want to continue with this whole situation, right? And Harv is like, yeah, I get it, but like, nothing we can do.
Well, cutting to brass tacks is she wants to contest the will.
Right.
Let's cut the chase here. She wants to contest the will, and
he's like, okay, well, that's a choice that you can make. And if you choose to do so, I can give you a lawyer.
I'm a little disappointed that he does not have those glasses that he hangs on his nose that he takes off periodically.
Yeah. The like Harry Truman glasses.
Yes. And she's wondering, what do you mean? But you have to do this. You do these things, right? I'm basically representing Jock, and I have to defend what he laid out. Well, she doesn't like that. No.
Right. And so when she realizes he won't fight for her, she just gets up and walks out.
Let's get down to Hicks and Donna's little argument here.
Committee meeting.
Yes.
And just as she thought, no one is interested in Donna's facts and figures that she has drawn up. No one gives a shit.
Well, how do you argue with lower prices for the consumer?
Right. And she's like, because it doesn't make sense. Because, like, it's going to ruin the entire industry.
Now, are you sure that your personal history, Mrs. Krebs, with J.R. Ewing isn't what's behind all of this?
And she's like, and they're like, there's no way we can, like, people want lower, gas. And she's like, that's why we're here, guys. Like, we're not elected. We are, appointed. Therefore, like, we don't have to worry about voters.
And
that's why we're a thing.
Our image is not
our image. We get to make actual decisions that make sense and are environmentally sound, because you, Mr. Hicks, used to be an environmentalist, but obviously you're not anymore. And he's just like, whatever.
Deflect.
Well, once J.R. Ewing started lining my pockets, I didn't really care about the environment.
And I think even though we don't know for sure, I think it becomes clear that he basically has paid off everyone else except Donna or committee.
Right, because they demand to take a vote, but then she says, I have an environmental impact study to show you. But we don't.
I know. She's like, they're like, unless you have something else. She's like, actually, I do. But boom, here's my environmental impact study. And
I have all the receipts.
She has all the receipts, and they do not give a fuck.
And then we cut away, and
Ewing Oil Night.
Ewing Oil Night. Night has fallen on Ewing Oil.
Harv has come to see both JR and Bobby.
I like the lighting in JR's office at night.
I do too. Yes.
With that Texas in the background on the wall there.
The colors are so cool.
Oh, yes.
And also I finally bought all the episodes HD. And let me tell you guys, if you guys are on the edge of buying it on HD, I recommend, because it looks so, like, I didn't think it could look better than just like when they updated it. It's so beautiful.
I'm waiting for Blu-ray release.
It's so beautiful.
Because I want hard copies.
Awesome. I'll probably get that too.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone in our studio audience is on the edge and can afford it, it's I bought it on Vudu, and it was a pretty good deal. So
I'm watching on Amazon Prime. Are those the HD ones?
No, they're the SD versions of the HD up conversion. So they're better than they were. And they have commercials, I believe, if you watch them through Prime.
Right. Yes.
I bought it on Vudu so that I didn't have commercials.
So back to the office with Harv, yes.
And he's basically like, he tells them that Ellie put him between a rock and a hard place. And if he has to go to court to defend the will that he made, like, he will, because that's literally his job, but it sucks.
What a shitty place to be in.
The one bomb he drops is that Ellie wasn't alone and that Pam came, and that really surprised Bobby.
Yeah, because that's the first Bobby's heard of that. And he's like, I'm sorry, what? Okay.
So they've basically the gist of it is they convince Bobby to be on that side of the fight. And that's what's great about this show is JR and Bobby are battling for control of Ewing Oil, and they're against each other. But at the same time, their mother wants to break the will. So now they have to team up, even though they're fighting each other. They have to team up to fight their own mother.
Right. And Bobby's now fighting his mother and his wife.
Yes. And that is what is great about this season, is that it just fractures everybody like a shattered mirror.
And just as they're ending their meeting, Donna calls and tells Bobby that JR gets to keep his variants.
Yes. But this doesn't concern Lucy or Muriel because they're sitting by the pool and Muriel's upset because of the she didn't want to go on a double date, Lucy.
Muriel's back.
Dressed with that little black little bow like ribbon.
Yeah, and like also she has the worst mullet known to man. Like hers is worse than Sue Ellen's, and Sue Ellen's is bad, and hers is even worse. And it's just like, can we stop getting these haircuts, ladies?
Yeah,
like, I understand it's 1982, but
that bothers me.
As we go into this, I just want to read what I wrote down here about this.
Wait a minute.
Lucy's upset Muriel doesn't want a double date.
By a man in this episode.
Mickey comes and Muriel is turned on like an oven. But she
Arthur,
turns Mickey down.
You got some things right.
Says that he's at least he's gotten turned
Oh,
down by a better class of people.
And I have a problem with Muriel being on Lucy's ass about not dating because Muriel knows what happened to Lucy.
No, because
she knows.
But
why isn't she being a little more understanding?
Any good friend who knew about the trauma.
Oh yeah, probably
that she had been through in a short
Arthur
period of time,
Bernard
not
Lewis,
that long ago, wouldn't
Arthur.
push it until
and many things.
Lucy
Arthur,
said
you need to
something
go get
herself
lost between
about
the
being
moon
ready
and New
to
York
date
City
again.
and learn how to write for women. But yeah, Muriel is like getting hot in her loins for Mickey right there.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God, he's hot.
Yeah. Well, I can also, this is the shitty part. Muriel is not being a good supportive friend.
Right.
She's being written by a man. But she also, I think, saw Lucy sitting at home in her room doing nothing, and she's trying to get her out.
Yes.
But there's a way to approach it.
She's thinking with her pants, which is normally reserved for, when you hear that phrase, it's normally reserved for men.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. I get that. But.
Right. And you don't approach it by, let's go out and like double date. Let's go out just us.
Let's go out, hang out, ladies.
Let's go grab something to eat. Let's go to a movie. Let's go shopping. Let's do this. Let's do that.
Get you out.
Not let's go to a singles bar so we can push your trauma buttons and no. So yeah, not.
Lucy wants to leave before, like she wants to go for a drive because she doesn't want to be there when Mickey comes out. And Muriel's like, why? I don't get it. And she said, well, you saw him. He has too much of a mouth on him. Plus, he's too young. And this is my favorite line from the entire show. She basically looks straight at the camera and says, don't knock it till you tried it.
Don't knock it until you've tried it.
Like, Muriel! What?
Well,
okay.
Well, we know Lucy likes them older. Right? She likes them older. She likes her uncle. She likes Professor Forrester. She likes Alan Beam.
That's true.
Is Mickey supposed to be like 18 or 19?
I think he's supposed to be like 19.
Okay.
I guess. And they're like 21, probably.
Oh, God, that's such an age difference.
Right, because, okay, she was 17 in 78. 17, that was...
17 plus 5, 22.
22? All right. Yeah, so she's 22. He's probably 19.
Makes sense. Okay.
Maybe 20.
And that's a decade.
It does seem much younger when you're that age. When you're 22, 19, 20 seems way.
Right, and then you get to these things where you have like Billy Joel's married to someone who's only a couple years older than his daughter.
Yeah.
What a great show he and Stevie Nicks put on in the pouring rain the other night.
Are they still married?
Yes, they are.
Wow. I mean, that's been a long time. So I guess it was legit.
And they have 2 small children.
Oh, wow. All right.
But you would have...
Like, did you see that article that came out about Dane Cook marrying his longtime partner that is 24? His partner of 6 years. because he was his.
I'm sorry, what?
She is his buddy's daughter.
Oh shit! Dane, like as if Dane couldn't sink any lower than he already was in people's minds.
Yep, because I saw like the People article come out like on Instagram and stuff, and then somebody like I saw it on Twitter. Somebody was like, "Longtime partner." The fuck, she's 24.
Thank you that we're still
Dane
calling
Cook-
it Twitter instead of X.
Oh yeah, refuse.
It's not X. It's Twitter.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And when
but Dane Cook, I haven't heard of him in like 12 years.
No, he's irrelevant
really.
for many reasons.
Yeah. And I know if Elon Musk starts charging, I am shutting
he
down the
groomed that
Ultimate
girl.
Dallas Twitter account.
Of course he did. He's like 40.
He's 51.
Oh shit, he's older than me.
Yeah, 51 and
Jesus.
24. Yeah, I think if
No.
they had met like in the last couple of years, maybe. But the fact that he knew
Maybe.
her as a teenager or child,
A child.
that is the creepiest fucking thing in the world. When some man is like, I watched you grow up, and it's like
their state of mind too.
it's like, yeah, you're creepy. Get away.
As Olivia Rodrigo would say, girls your age know better. I love Olivia Rodrigo.
It's true.
Yeah.
So can we talk about the Ewing Oil Corporation logo on the computer, which I took a picture of at the same time that you posted it?
Did you? Because I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I love it. It looks like the Commodore 64 game, honestly. So amazing.
So we were obviously thinking alike at that moment.
Yeah.
I literally,
I saw it.
I literally
was
hit
like, that
pause.
is beautiful.
Literally hit pause and go, oh my God, I got to get my phone out. I got to take a picture of that.
And then it was up already. Yeah.
As I'm going in to post it, I see, oh God, she's already posted it. Damn it. So Bobby's typing on his like massively 80s computer there, early 80s.
Yeah. And he's looking at confidential files.
Yes. And from the picture we took, we can obviously read what those things were.
It's investment analysis. So Pam comes in, gives him a big kiss, and he just sits there like a rock. And she's like, I'm sorry, should I come in and get and do that? Because there was a time when like I'd come in and do that and, I'd get your engine revving.
Right. So she her kiss did not melt his ice sculpture. They've come a long way from the laughter that Jock was overhearing from their bedroom at the.
Well, yeah, they were very young.
Yes.
At that time.
Naivete. Yeah. So they get into quite the little kerfluffle here.
He's just like, I want to know why you're siding against me with Mama.
Well, that's the thing.
She's like, I'm not.
She wants an ordinary family.
She's not siding. She's not against Bobby. She's for Miss Ellie. Does that make sense?
It completely makes sense to me, but Bobby doesn't get it.
No, if you're siding with Mama, you're against me. That's basically his.
Right. It's all black and white in his view.
Yeah.
That is no.
So Bobby lays in. He's like, basically, like, why can't you be like Sue Ellen, who's on JR's side? And she's like, I'm sorry, I am not Sue Ellen. Like, we get along now. We're friends, but like, that ain't me.
Right. And
No,
So
because when things are good with Sue Ellen and JR, Sue Ellen will blindly follow him. Blindly. As strong as her intuition is when JR's like in his head, she's got blinders on.
I said, well, Pam wants an ordinary life with her husband. Bobby prefers to beat Mama and JR and get his rocks off by running Ewing Oil permanently.
Right. Basically, she's like, I don't care about money and power. And he was like, here's the thing. I do care about money and power. And it's like, oh well, I guess we're at...
Pam, that money and power makes me hard, okay?
Right. And you know what? And I don't... Honestly, from everything I know, and I'm not going to give any spoilers, but from everything I know about Pam in this show, she does care about money and power. She says she doesn't, but she does.
She grew up on the wrong side of the tracks where they were throwing rocks at the Ewing Oil building to try to break the windows when they were growing up. And she's had a taste of the money. And now when you have a taste of the nectar, you want all of the nectar.
There is not a time in the future that she turns away from money or power.
Right.
So Okay, Pam.
So JR and Sue Ellen, we see them pulling into South Fork, and all the lights are on at South Fork again at night. We might have to start drinking every time we see all the lights on at South Fork at night when they pull into the...
Oh, that's a good idea. There you go. All the lights on, yeah.
So now Clayton's being dragged into this as well.
Right. And Ellie's like, I'm sorry that I called you and bringing you into this mess, but like, I need advice, and you're the only person I could think of.
Harv will not work with me because he's, Jock, and I need a lawyer, and he can recommend some guy named Brooks Oliver.
Yeah.
And Clayton will call him up and pave the way for Ellie to set up a meeting.
Yeah.
It's very,
nice,
it's very gentlemanly. But
it really is.
And guess who walks in at the same time?
Jared Swellen. Swellen. And JR Swellen is very excited to see Clayton, and JR not so much.
Right. Well, he's certainly making his way around the Ewing women, isn't he?
Yeah, he's looking pretty cozy with Ellie there.
That's right. JR basically wants Clayton to stay the hell out of it because this is Ewing business.
And Ellie, she just wants to spend time alone with Clayton. So get the fuck out, JR.
This is my house, and you're not going to tell me what to do in my house.
Right. Yeah.
Mama gonna knock you out.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're down with LPP here. Yeah, okay.
You know me. So then JR cut to their bedroom. JR's just pissed that Clayton's
I like
there.
when JR's going up the stairs and he's calling Sue Ellen up like a child. Come on. Or like a dog. Come here.
Right.
Come here.
Wait, come on, right.
You want a bone? Wait, that's another.
I mean.
Well, come here. Here, boy. Here, girl. Come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they cut to the room, and JR is just like pissed. He's like taking off his tie.
And he's really like, you can tell he's pissed because the way he's taking off. He's like,
yeah. And he's just like, I can't believe Clayton's here with my mama, and they're getting cozy. And Sue Ellen assures him there's absolutely nothing romantic going on between Miss Ellie and Clayton, which, okay, Sue Ellen, sure, Jan.
Ellie. It's all
Sure,
about
Jan.
Yeah, and JR gets scary. He's going to, when he's done, there's going to be nothing left for Bobby here, and he's going to drive Bobby off the ranch. And Sue Ellen said, well, you this is your mama's house. And he goes, she's the mistress of South Fork. And
In name only.
In name only. JR is, he's turning like Dr. Evil here.
He's turning on his mom? Like, that's pretty...
Because he wants Sue Ellen to have that title and share that power with him.
Right. Which, honestly, even though I don't like he's going against his mom, I love that for Sue Ellen.
I know.
Right? That's all she's ever wanted.
She wants to feel like she's part, like she's
like she's part of this.
That she's actually part of this dynasty, if you will.
Dynasty dynamic duo,
And that
power couple.
Hearing those words are making her moist right now. She's getting so turned
totally
on.
JR totally got laid that night.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, he's speaking all the right words.
The whole house can hear them that night and through those thin walls.
Definitely. Yeah.
Don't wake the children, JR and Sue Ellen, with that pounding the Posturpedic.
And then cut to JR visiting Holly, who's actually wearing clothes.
And she's in the house and not by the pool.
Right, but she's in her bedroom. Her office is in her bedroom. Which JR's like, your office is in your bedroom?
She's got a male bimbo named Elliot for a secretary.
She's a male secretary. This is a moment where I was like, I think I love Holly, because she has the equivalent of like all the other like secretaries that the dudes have. She just has like a hot dude.
It reminded me
that
secretary.
Holly is JR, but like 25 and naive.
Yes, basically. Yeah, I would have loved to see Holly in the future. She stands up to him and says he can't have full capacity at her refinery because she's like, I have huge contracts, and one of my contracts is with the government. So like, I can't do it.
So, well, and he wants her out of her pleasure palace to do whatever she has to do to get those military contracts canceled so he can get that refinery.
And then she's like, but JR. And then it sucks because she stands up to him for a hot minute and then she totally backs down at the end. But JR. And he walks out. And I'm like, oh, Holly, girl.
Like, no, it's the government. You don't fuck with the...
It's the government.
You don't fuck with the government contract. That's a lot.
Well,
what are you doing?
We know JR doesn't care whether it's the
JR,
government.
do you want to go to prison? Like, is Club Fed looking good? Because he's like...
Right.
He's basically like walking around Dallas right now going, arrest me, you know? Like, seriously, he's doing all this shit that's like illegal or unethical like he usually does.
And
but
it won't
like,
be the last time.
Oh, and you know what? They should have, just my opinion, the early 80s is when they should have really started looking at investing in other areas of energy besides oil.
Well, Jimmy Carter had started doing that, and then Reagan overturned all of it.
Yeah.
Our country, as it is, yes, because
I love that Saturday Night Live sketch where Phil Hartman played Ronald Reagan. He goes, and they talking about how he was selling arms to. He goes, "All right, you're going to do this, you're going to do this," and then the secretary buzzes and goes, "Mr. President, it's that photo op with the girl who sold the most Girl Scout cookies," and he goes, "Damn, this is the part of the job I hate the most. Everybody out. Everybody out." The girl comes in and goes, "Well, little girl, you sold a lot of Girl Scout cookies. Congratulations. Would you like some jelly beans?" And then she leaves and he goes, "All right, everybody back in here." And then the secret maps come out again. All right, so Bobby wants Ted to get him a variance so that he can pump to capacity and sell oil. If JR has one, why can't he have one?
No, Bobby, don't do shit like that.
You're sinking to JR's level.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lesson here. Like, why? Don't do that. It's not a good idea.
There's other things you can do. Yeah.
Do not.
The cartel in the oil industry is pissed at JR. Don't make them pissed at you as well.
Oh. And that's do not piss off the cartel. Do not piss off the people that can make your life or your job a living hell.
Right.
And Jordan is not impressed with Bobby's plan. He's just like,
And
we're not.
I love the line he leaves. "You can hang before I'll agree to that."
I know. I'm like, wow, taking a stand, Jordan. All right.
Woo. Because the gist of that was that the Wellington well was capped, and that's now under Bobby's control, and that was gone in with the cartel. And no, Jordan, hell no, we're not. Bobby, we're not uncapping that. Oh no, you can hang before I'll agree to that.
And Ellie meets with Brooks Oliver,
whose eyebrows, these eyebrows are.
There's some eyebrow action.
These are
there for sure.
I call them some of the craziest eyebrows this side of older Larry Hagman's eyebrows.
Touche,
yes.
Yeah. Brooks wants to take her case. He really does. He's like, I've heard all about this and I really want to be on your side. But here's the thing is I'm super busy settling the case of Mark Grayson Sr.
First mention of the name Grayson.
And I'm not sure if Mark Grayson Jr. would be really cool with me, like dividing my time. But I mean, I'm going to try to broach the subject. And Ellie's like, well, what if I talk to this Mark Grayson Jr.? And he's like, oh, well, maybe that would be a really good idea.
And by the way, Brooks, what's involved with overturning this will? And he says that you're going to have to call into question Jock's mental competence. And that's just like, she takes pause at that.
Yeah, like she hasn't realized that's a thing.
Madison's. Pam is with Rebecca talking about how Ellie has to contest Jock's will and declare him incompetent.
Right. And Rebecca is like, wow, this must be real. Like, this must be really super hard on Ellie, you know?
So she takes pause from her hatred of the Ewings overall.
Hatred campaign, yeah. Yeah.
And she's actually going to make arrangement. It wonders if it will be okay to call Ellie and maybe go over to see her.
Yeah.
That would be a nice gesture.
And she's also like, you know, if JR would just change his tactics, Ellie wouldn't have to go through this hell. And then we cut to JR.
Holding.
Doing his tactics.
in a public forum of a press conference with probably Bobby Jo Ferguson, who was that actress who was the mother of Sarah Gilbert's husband on Roseanne's spinoff.
I was trying to think of whose mom that was. Because I know you said it was someone's mom.
Yeah, J.R. Ferguson. His middle initials are, yeah.
Okay.
He was on the TV version of The Outsiders back when that was a TV series.
In like 1990.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And he was on Evening Shade. He played Burt Reynolds' son. With Lana from Three's Company was on that show too. Ann Wedgeworth.
I just remember that was a show made by like friends of the Clintons.
Yeah. Oh, the Bloodworth Thomason.
I think so. Yeah.
And Marilu Henner was Burt Reynolds' wife, and she was in the running listed as a possible replacement for Victoria Principal on Dallas. So
as Pam or as a different character?
As Pam.
I wish they would have done that.
Well, I liked Margaret Michaels.
I liked Margaret Michaels too. They should have kept her. That's what I'm saying.
They replaced on Dynasty. They had Al Corley get replaced by Jack Coleman, who was married to Beth Toussaint. And then Al Corley came back for the miniseries. And then we went from Pamela Sue Martin to Emma Sams, who looked nothing alike. So
it's a soap opera, they do that.
It's not unheard of, especially after accidents and you have facial reconstruction.
Right. It's a soap opera. So anyway, yeah, so he's giving a press conference and he's acting like a political figure. He's just like, I'm for the people.
He's acting like a martyr for the common man is what he is.
Right, yeah.
He's really spinning his public image to just swing everybody over to his side.
Yeah, he's like, this will all be good, and I can lower the cost of gasoline for the common people if the government just does not interfere.
For the love of the common man.
It's like I have to fight everyone, the oil men, the government, even my own family, just to do this for the people.
Because Bobby came in and he had no comment.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, Bob, JR, just like he's like crawling up on the cross,
He's like a spin doctor.
And that's where it freeze frames.
Freeze frame. Doop, 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 doop.
On JR, so you drink once.
The Spin Doctors with their song Just Go Ahead Now.
That's called Two Princes.
No.
Yeah, Two Princes.
Just Go Ahead Now.
Yeah, it is. No, it's called Two Princes.
I swear.
That's the actual name, yes, Two Princes.
I had it listed, it showed up on a thing as Just Go Ahead Now, like on an iPod type of a thing, yeah.
If it's on an iPod type of a thing, that sounds like it came off of LimeWire or Napster or something. Somebody's computer, because the name of the song is Two Princes. Swear.
Yes, yeah. Swear to God.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'll just stick with whatever. Not that I listen to the Spin Doctors much, but
they were I listened to them in like 1994, so a while ago. I give this four bourbons and Holly's secretary.
Oh yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna give this 4 stars. Not my favorite episode. I do like the whole will thing, but I have a couple of 4 bourbons and the hair in the reading of the will. Sue Ellen still has the mullet, and Lucy has the biggest fucking hair I've ever seen, and both of their makeup is horrible.
Interesting. There was some propulsion here, the will, stuff, and there's more fracturing, so it's starting to tangle a little more as we're going on further into the most dramatic season of what I think, even though this episode came in at number 24 in the ratings.
Because it's on New Year's Eve.
Don't air something on New Year's Eve.
Right. People have lives.
Are you going to air it on Christmas, opposite Christmas Mass?
Right. What are you doing?
No, come on now. And I'm going to give it a new condo.
I'm going to go with 4 bourbons and...
Oh, did I say it? 425? Yeah.
4 bourbons and Donna's receipts.
Oh, yeah, because she brought all of them. All of them.
Like she
had
the report specially made up, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. Emily was like, she chose fun fonts, the whole thing. She had like graphs and all that
That's really,
shit.
and I will say, not just as a woman, but as a person in general, it's really, really gut punching when you work so fucking hard on something and everybody's like, yeah, we don't give a shit. And it's like,
yeah, obviously don't care. And you're like,
okay, well then, what the fuck am I even doing here?
That was 9 years of video classes at Camp Putin in New Hampshire. Yes, I'm calling them Camp Putin because they're assholes.
Putin?
Yes.
Okay.
But, so out there, I went on our website and then I went to our merchandise section and they are having up to 35% off for the next 9 days on things.
They are?
Yes. So I am about to, for $16, I will be getting Omri Katz his Ewing Barbecue Podcast t-shirt that I will be giving to him in Salem.
Cool.
Or
nice.
when I pick him up at the airport.
Okay.
And he's going to give me Mary Dankster's shirt as well. Cool. So we're going to, nice. I do believe in the cross promotion of.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll see you online. Till next time when we talk about season 6, episode 14, the Ewing Blues.
And porn stash.
Bye. And porn stash.
I cannot wait to come back next week. Bye, y'all.
And don't forget to check out that 35%, up to 35% off the merchandise on, I mixed them up. It's T Public. Okay, not Teespring. So y'all come back now, you hear?
Till next time.
Next on Dallas.
There is an intra-company rivalry going on between you and your brother.
Now, I love my brother, don't get me wrong. But he does not have the strength to run Ewing Oil. I know it, he knows it, and the whole family knows it.
My brother doesn't think I can play hardball. Well, sweetheart, I'm going to have the pleasure of stuffing that ball down his throat.
I'm going to side with Miss Ellie, and I'm going to fight you and Bobby every step of the way.
She has to know exactly what she is getting into if she wants to go to court.
I don't want to do any of this. I have to.
Mary, are you there? Mary, are you there? Now she'll hear this when she's editing, and it's going to be great.